Today I want to talk about stoicism, detachment, and wanting to see you win. There aren't very many people in this world that want to see you win, truly and significantly. And there are not very many people that want to heal the sick either. You know, part of the idea of healing the sick nowadays in modern psychology and psychotherapy and healthcare of all kinds, we always know how to provide solutions to the symptoms, but never the actual root of the cause. And I do think that it's a shame that we're not so spiritually inclined when it comes to the relationship between physical illnesses, psychological illnesses, and the overall condition of your spiritual health. The truth is that you make the inner work for your spiritual ascension as hard as you want it to be. And in doing so, you also understand just how much of a game you are playing against yourself. It's time for you to let go of the ego investments that you've made in who you perceive to be or who you want to perceive to be. Now, this is very much easier said than done, of course, because it can sting when you attempt to achieve something that maybe you're just not meant for, or you want to achieve something and you want to be something that maybe you're just not meant to be. It can sting, and it can really be a shot to the heart for all intents and purposes. So the power of stoicism and detachment comes from letting go of your investments that you've made with your ego. The ego is what I want, what I need, what I desire, what I like, what I dislike. All of these array of things that make up who you perceive yourself to be. And I do think that having a healthy integrated ego is very important. We can't really live without the ego. When I hear sages and spiritual teachers talk about dissolving the ego, this is a spiritual condition that you will have to do the rest of your life. There are going to be times when you're sick. There are going to be times when you're not well. And you're going to have an ego in order for you to know that there's pain that you need to resolve. That's our natural inclination as a living species, is to resolve any kind of pain and to also run away from pain and run toward pleasure. That's our natural biological condition. So when you are willing to associate what is it you're willing to run away from versus what you're willing to run toward, just as it is, then you already start to know who you really are. And a lot of the people on this channel have been involved in narcissistic relationships. And that means that you're going to likely not even have any glimpse or are learning how to have a glimpse at what you truly want in your life, what you truly desire in your life. This is something that cannot be told to you. You cannot be told what you want. You cannot be told what you deserve. You can think what you deserve. You can think what you think you deserve. You can think what you want to want, all you want. but when it comes down to it, your actions absolutely will determine what you really do and do not want. If you want to, well, I'll take my situation for example. When I was almost 200 pounds and there was a sense of me either losing the weight or not, I had to make certain actions to indicate that I actually wanted that. I had to make certain arrangements and differences and changes in my eating habits, in my exercise habits, in how I spent my time, etc., in order to illustrate and create the life that I truly wanted. And I had to sacrifice brownies and I had to sacrifice ice cream, and I hated it so fucking much. I love brownies and ice cream. But I'm not gonna, get a six pack eating brownies and ice cream all the time. You might get away with a meal here and there, but I've had like one cheat meal a week for the past little while on average for, I would say, the last like 6 or 7 months. And even that is like, I notice it for like 2 or 3 days now. And I don't know if it's just because I'm getting a little bit older. I mean, I'm only 26, but my body is not the same as it was 10 years ago, where I could eat probably 3 or 4 cheeseburgers if I wanted, and I could hardly gain weight. It wasn't until I was like 18, 19, 20 when I started to like pay the repercussions of my eating habits. But really, the quality of Stoicism can really help you in reaching your goals, because you are not attached to an outcome, but you make sure that all of your actions are aligned with your aim. And when you do that, you have a proclivity to want to see yourself and others win. Because any person that's really winning in life doesn't need to hurt or use anybody else in order to get what they want. The winner's already winning. The wolf that is already on the top of the hill already has the prospects and the resources available for him to eat. Why would he be upset about any other wolf trying to run up some other hill? It's not his hill, and it's somewhere over there where he already has his stuff, so he's not really, it doesn't really matter for him in the same way anyway. And so the inner work really comes down to naming your emotions, not believing your emotions all the time, because even though your emotions are all correct, it doesn't mean that they're always useful and there's always utility in acting on them. And so that's why reason and logic is going to be a very, very important aspect of understanding and truly disintegrating your ego for the rest of your time on earth. And what I mean by disintegrating your ego is to just reconstruct it, to constantly reconstruct it, to constantly understand that you are the ego itself doesn't really exist. You, whoever you are watching this, you are part of the collective consciousness in itself. You are participating in the watching and the listening and the eating and the sleeping and all of that stuff. You are participating in the act of itself. So when you're walking, you know that you are walking. You are the act of walking. You're not the author of the one doing the walk, necessarily. But you are the walker. You are the walking walker. Where a lot of these other people out here are sleepwalking. But you know that you're walking. That's the difference. You can feel the heel to the toe as you step. You can feel the rain kind of touch your skin as you walk into it. You can feel the wind gusts as you really just move your hands through the air as you walk to your car. You can smell the trees as you walk in the forest. You can hear the sound of birds singing and truly just listen to them as they are. This is a meditative quality that also coincides with Stoicism. And the inner work comes from being able to distinguish what is worth paying attention to. Because attention in itself is your primary currency. Attention is consciousness for all intents and purposes. Attention and consciousness are practically one and the same in my view. And so, when you are able to just listen without naming things, where you're able to look at something without naming it, but inside, in your mind, you're able to look at it as if it's a plane flying by in the sky. You can just see it flying by. That's your emotions to some degree, right? Where they're just passing by. They're just flying by. You don't have to try to follow that plane, but you can see the trajectory and where it's going. And once you get to the point that you are able to name the emotions within you, you don't have to really name anything within you, because you'll just come to a natural place of neutrality where you're in this meditative state constantly. And what I think the meditative state really is accepting the Holy Spirit. And what do I mean by that? The Holy Spirit is a pure consciousness, a reborn consciousness, where you have completely stripped the ego and are reintegrating it day to day. In alchemy, there's a lot of talks of the process in which one reforms the soul. But first, you have to completely blacken the soul. And you do that by burning everything that is not worthy to be reborn in your spirit. And so you have to take the lessons of your soul and to completely reform them in spirit. And that's exactly what doing the inner work is all about. I hope this message was useful and insightful. Until next time, peace be with you.